How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. North London derby win, 3 points on the board, 2 points gained in the title race, if you believe there is one, or 2 points gained on Liverpool, if you believe it's still to be a race and Liverpool have to let us back in it. It is a positive. What was it? Game week 21, I believe, off the top of my head, if I'm not mistaken. Positive results for us across the board, including obviously the North London derby win. But we're going to talk about it. As always, people, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, leave your comments, do all of that stuff. Download the AFTV Plus app as well. And yeah, do what you do, people. Love for the love as always. Big up James, big up Lee, big up Jordan, back in the building. Let's start with Jordan anyway on this one, because obviously last time round, I see a lot of the comments saying that, we interrupted Jordan. We just felt like after years of being interrupted ourselves, that it was only right that we returned the favor all in one go. So, Jordan, I mean, your thoughts on North London?
It's a disgrace. Listen, let's just start off
before you come in, Jordan. No, sorry, just before you come in.
No, James. No.
Anyway, Jordan. Yeah, Lee, you go to the game, Lee. So yeah,
come back. No, you know what? Big up.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a great game. It was unreal, like
Or do the Jordan one when he's talking.
Sorry to cut you. Sorry to cut you, Jordan. But listen, that was unreal, like
Big up the community for siding with me on that one. It was the height of bad manners. But I didn't want to flag it, but I'm glad the community did. So big up the community. Listen, no, I want to let you guys chat about the game first. But before you guys do the game, I want to offer an apology to the Arsenal Forever community because on the last podcast, I stated something that wasn't actually true. I mentioned that Arteta said something that actually he hadn't said. And as a journalist myself, I take a lot of pride in quoting people correctly and not misquoting. I said that I read a tweet from United Stand who'd said that Arteta said the referee was against us, and he hadn't said that at all. I hadn't sourced it properly. So
that wasn't real.
No, it wasn't a real quote.
Nah.
You're telling me my fan cam was all for nothing then?
yeah,
Fucking hell, Jordan, man.
Better delete that quickly.
That was the fuel to the fire, mate. That was it. That was the gasoline.
It was. But no, I was rightly pulled up on it, and it wasn't sourced. I wanted to say an apology because it's important that we get things correct and we don't make up things. And yeah, so big up the community for kind of holding me to account on that one. But my comments in the game are quite negative. So what I think probably makes more sense. No, I wouldn't go that far.
Nah.
But I think you guys should pick up the game and talk for the game and let me get to the negatives first because I think we should start on a positive for sure.
Well, I mean, the biggest positive is we got the 3 points and coupled up with Liverpool dropping 2 points. What do people say when one door closes, another opens? I'm not saying this door is open now, but it's slightly more ajar than it was 3 days ago. It's 4 points now, the gap. Obviously, they still have a game in hand, they being Liverpool, and we still got to go Anfield, but they've also got a big away game on the weekend, Brentford. We know what their home record's like. They've just come back from 2 goals down to City, and I know City and Liverpool are different beasts this year, but we can hope and pray going into game week 22 as well that we can cut it down some further. But it worked out for us. We capitalized, and that was one of the things I needed us to do. It's, I think, our 4th opportunity to capitalize off the back of Liverpool either not playing a game or dropping points. We failed to do that each and every time prior. I think it was 3 times. 4th time, lucky we got the job done. And I was with Grizz doing the Big Six watching, and you could feel like, you could feel not nerves per se, but the feeling that that door is slightly more ajar. So Lee, talk to me. You was at the game as always. How was it?
Yeah, listen, first and foremost, I don't know if Arsenal would have won that game yesterday if it weren't for the fans. The atmosphere in that stadium yesterday was back to how it was. It was absolutely electric yesterday. So a big up for the support yesterday. I'm going to be really honest. We went 1-0 down. I'd gone. You know what I mean? Like I'd gone, but a couple of my mates that were there picked me up and made me believe again. So that was so. I do thank them for that. But the other thing I would say is that I don't know, probably Jordan's going to come in. There were loads of negatives yesterday, but this for me, beating Spurs just overrides everything there. Like that was a poor Tottenham side, and we we struggled to put them to bed, but for another day. But the other thing that I will say is that we needed to, after Sunday, we needed a good week. And I mean like it. And we needed the Tuesday. We needed that Tuesday where everybody around us dropped points. And then we needed to get ourselves a win yesterday. And it worked out perfectly. It worked out perfectly. They might not be the best ever players that played for Arsenal yesterday and whatever. But I thought when we went 1-0 down, I can't compliment them as individuals to pull themselves out of that and get themselves back to 2-1 by half time. I thought was fantastic. I thought first half we played really, really well, by the way. I think, I'm going to be honest with you on this one, I say this, I thought our defending in that first half was shocking. You know what I mean? Like, to have all of that play and to allow them to have 2 gilt-edged chances was poor defending. In the second half, we defended so well, magnificently well when it mattered. So big up to that. Miles Lewis-Skelly, what a performance from him yesterday. He was outstanding in every department, and also at the end when he went off, just proved that I think I'm in love with him now. You know, as a kid, like, he was absolutely superb. Nice. Gabriel was my man of the match today, but that was as close as not getting man of the match as whatever. I thought that he was immense. And I just think at the end of the day, I'm going to say, like, Martin Odegaard, I don't know if you remember that touch he done in the first half when he pulled it out around 3 players and went away. Yeah. He was outstanding yesterday in his play until he got into the box. He becomes like, I don't know what he becomes when he gets into the box. He's a completely different player. But the way he manipulated the ball yesterday, he was back to his very, very best, apart from getting in the box. But listen, that's another day. I just think at the end of it, like, I'm buzzing from the atmosphere yesterday. But the most important thing is we went 1-0 down. I was on my knees because I didn't see us getting 2. I said to my mate, how the hell are we going to score 2 goals? But we did. We got it back. And that spell just before half time. Thank you, Arsenal. Thank you, all the players. Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. Shall I jump in here? I tell you one thing, I don't always love being on watch-alongs because, especially for games that are that tense, you know, you're not always proud of your reactions to everything. I'll tell you one thing I do really like about being on watch-alongs, though, is that people will know I'm not talking shit when I say what I'm about to say, which is that when we went 1-0 down, I was saying to everyone on the 25th minute, this isn't like Newcastle and Man United. I thought that first 20 minutes we were all over Spurs. And I know you said you were a bit head down, Lee, at going 1-0 down. But I felt very positive. You know, okay, you're 1-0 down. You don't feel great about it. But I meant, I thought, well, we can get them here still. Against Newcastle, Man United, I know we had chances, but they came from basically the same kind of crosses or corners or whatever, the same patterns of play. There was nothing particularly inventive. And I felt our chance creation was staggered. 1 goal, you know, 1 chance maybe on the 5th minute, then 1 on the 15th, then maybe 1 on the 27th. Whereas against Spurs, I actually felt there was a relentless nature to our attack. Now, we're so bloody toothless in terms of our actual finishing. And that's probably the main negative, that once again, this game still highlighted our need for a forward. But I thought our play was much better. I thought our pressing was sensational. The amount of turnovers we created. Do you create a turnover? That we force, basically, through our high press. I thought the work ethic was superb. I actually thought we were going central. We were picking players out of the back post, not just because of a cross, but actually picking out switches, you know, finding runs through the middle. Sterling did not have a good game, but, you know, Lewis Skelly puts him in with a lovely run through, and he should have scored on the 3rd minute or whatever. Yeah. And there were quite a few moments like that. Now, part of that's because Spurs were poor. We have to acknowledge that they were bad on the day. But you can only play what's in front of you. And I thought Arsenal were much, much better. So going 1-0 down with another deflected goal, may I say? I mean, that's happened like 3-4 times this season. I was still pretty confident that we could turn this around because I just thought we'd have enough chances. I've been saying on recent podcasts that, you know, we need like 5 chances to score 1 goal, whereas Liverpool need 2 or 3 to score 1. But that's exactly what we were having against Spurs. We were having like 5-6 chances in the space of 10, 15 minutes. So I was kind of confident it would come. And it did. I thought this was a much better performance from Arsenal. Again, I do think Spurs allow you to do that. Depleted back line, and they are going to play that kind of football. So I do think they played into our hands to a degree. I thought it wasn't even that they were poor when they got into a shape. I thought when they were trying to actually play out the back and do the one thing they're meant to be good at, which is in possession, I thought they were shocking. But Arsenal forced them to be shocking too. I mean, our pressing is really good, and we've actually done that to most teams in the league this season, is forced them to, give the ball up in dangerous positions. And look, will I say we punished them? Not as much as we should have, but ultimately enough to win the game. So I feel really positive about the result and the overall the approach and the way we did it. I think we were good enough for a 3 or a 4-1, but it only highlighted our need for a forward more. And I think with Josh Kroenke in the building, I think Arteta, listen, did he send a message, bring on Tierney left wing? I don't know if he sent one deliberately. I don't think he was, trying to play around with the dynamics of the game just to send a message to the board. But I do think ultimately it sent a message saying that our best option was to bring on Kieran Tierney, to the point where even Declan Rice has said it in the post-match. We've had to bring on Kieran Tierney left wing. It's an issue, that position. So well done. I enjoy derby days, and there's a bigger context, which I'm sure we'll go into. But first and foremost, enjoy it. It's always great to beat Tottenham.
Just one thing before you boys come in. Wasn't too keen on Trossard starting, but it proved me wrong. You know what I mean? Like the goal, I thought he done well.
He got better as the game went on, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He grew into it.
And I was giving him a bit of a disservice when he had that chance in the first few minutes, but it was good defending, to be fair. It was a good little touch from Declan Rice, and it was on target. It was good defending, but when it mattered, he's had the shot. A lot of players wouldn't have the shot there, and if you don't shoot, you don't score. So he responded. And if you're going to come back and prove a few of the Arsenal fans wrong, Leo, do it against Spurs, and he done it against Spurs. Well done.
But you know what he gave us with that goal? Look, I think the Spurs keeper was poor on that goal. I think he should have saved it, because I think he didn't even get a touch to it.
Yeah.
But watching it live, I didn't think that was a tame effort. And I wasn't, obviously you're in the euphoria of going 2-1 up. But, reflecting on it, I don't remember looking at it thinking, it's kind of a mild effort towards goal. He's just picked out the corner. He did have a bit of venom behind that shot. Yeah. He struck it well. And, the keeper, if you're not 100% on it, you're not going to parry that and get it away. And he's the player in the team that's willing to take that shot, where others from much closer range weren't willing to take shots. Yeah. But Trossard is always the one who's willing to do that. He has had a lot of criticism recently, deservedly so. Pretty much all the forwards have deserved their criticism, and probably still do after this game. But you can't fault the shift they put in. And actually, I just thought there was overall a lot more invention. Ødegaard, much better. Declan Rice isn't having the season of last season, but I thought he was sensational against Spurs. Partey wins the ball high up at the pitch, and I thought did that really well in the first half. And I thought the back four, Lewis Skelly, I mean, what a joke of a talent. He's unbelievable. And then Gabriel Saliba, even Timber put in another 90 minutes on the back of us thinking he wasn't even going to be available for this. He put in another. He just locked off that our right and their left. They had nothing down that side because Timber just went, nope, not today. Really, really top performances all round, more from an individual perspective than maybe from a... No, from a team perspective, we were good. But the forward line, there's work to be done. We know that. And we'll get there, I'm sure.
Yeah. Listen, going down isn't the best of feelings, especially when you consider that first 20 minutes is something we've seen before. 10 minutes dominating, 20 minutes dominating. How many saves does the opposition keeper had to make? None. We've been there before quite a few times in the past few weeks. But a mix of Declan Rice's set pieces got to be mentioned again, because again, probably the main threat we had it across the game, or the main beacon of hope. Every time we had a set piece or a corner, and Tottenham gave us a fair few silly fouls as well in and around the box. It felt like something can come from it. And listen, one of them did. The second goal, however, the Trossard, I want to go back to that because I mentioned around this time last year the need for it, the clinicalness. we win the ball back so well. Our press is one of the best, if not the best, right? We win the ball back so well. Our front three or midfield win it back so well, but very rarely does that turn into a shot on goal or a goal itself. Very rarely, because whether the pass is delayed or whether we're slow or reset, and we just don't get to the common goal. This one, Partey wins the ball back. It falls to Odegaard, taps it into space, looks around, two options. Okay, takes his time, plays it to Trossard. Trossard looks up, thinks, nah, one more touch, shoot. That's the sort of thinking that will get you the goals necessary to not look at these games and say we lack this, we lack that. But it does show that you bring in, over the next window and two free attackers, considering the situation we're in. I think we're ready made to just take that next step and be a great side. And by great side, I mean win things. But it's just that the hesitancy from the club so far, I'm going to say 14 days in, even though it's the 16th. Reason I'm going to say 14 is because the last 2 days has been a very different narrative and vibe from Mikel in the press conferences. It's literally chalk and cheese. 4 days ago, market opportunities, internal solutions. Now we're in for a forward. Clean. People were telling me you can't say that last week, but he's come out and said it. Kroenke's come to London. I don't know whether that's played a part. Who's the pressure coming from? Mikel on him, came on Mikel. I don't care. We know we need to do something. And similar to Ipswich, 1-0, we could have said similar things where even in a win, our deficiencies are there to see. So I'm glad that Mikel, again, I've questioned Mikel in these press conferences last 2 weeks. I'm glad he's coming out now to say what it should be. Because if we can couple up these 3 points with another 3 points against Villa and a quality attacking signing, considering Liverpool's, I won't say form because results haven't completely gone against them, but performance level, what they haven't won in, or they've won 1 in 4, that being the FA Cup tie against Accrington Stanley.
They've dropped points in 4 games since the international break.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the 2 in December back to back, and now 2 in January back to back. Coupled that with Tottenham 1. Now listen, they're still top of the league. They're still favourites to go to Carabao Cup final and so on. Of course, I get that. But it's just something that, listen, we ain't got much to feed off at this moment in time, especially after this last week. 7 days can change a lot. Like I said, if we're sitting here next Monday, Villa having been disposed of, 3 more points, Brentford potentially taking more points of Liverpool, and that signing is coming in over the line, ready for the next game, you're in a very different mood. There's something to push for. So I want to give the team credit, because if we lost that game, it could have been very different conversations. It wasn't pretty, to say the least. It wasn't pretty. And again, set pieces being our main threat, we can talk about that, and but we know what it is. Just the 3 points, especially going 1-0 down, just the 3 points. That's what it was all about. And overall, I think we deserved the win. I don't know about the 5, 6, 7 goals. Maybe if we had better attackers, we could say that for a lot of the games this season. But we just had to get the job done. And Trossard, I have to say, big up, because that was a finish. I know the keeper might have done better, but the art of a ball bouncing in front of a keeper is part of the finish. It's part of the strike. It's part of the shot, and it makes it difficult. And it was a weaker foot. He assessed his options. He done everything perfectly. When you want an attacker to be clinical, what Trossard did there was clinical. First touch, looks up, is there anyone to pass to? Nah. Second touch, lines up for the shot. Third touch, back of the net. If we can get a couple more attackers like that, do you know where we go? In my opinion, And Lewis Skelly, James, I've been talking about Lewis Skelly since the summer. I'm glad that he's getting his flowers, man. His performance level, his character, personality, confidence, on the ball, off the ball. It's brilliant to see, man. He's got a very, very bright future, that kid. He's
strength as well, Turkish. That's got to be mentioned as well. There was a couple of times he was not favourite on a few occasions, but his body strength for 18 years of age, unbelievable.
And he's got
that recovery on Kulusevski. I was like,
wow. And he's got Gabriel next to him, who, in my opinion, man of the match again. Someone that just he steps up. He just steps up, and I've questioned him over the years, start seasons with a couple of mistakes here and there, but boy, does he make up for them, whether it's in the game or the following game or the game after that. Gabriel, Flex said, when we done box to box for United, I usually ask key man. He said Gabriel, first time ever someone other than Saka or Odegaard or at times Martinelli, Trossard have been mentioned. but Gabriel is just a beast. He is just a beast in our box, in theirs. I mean, defensively as well. That Jed Spence ball, beautiful ball from Jed Spence. Son due to tap it in. Gabriel,
unbelievable that was.
What a tackle! I don't even know what to call it, tackle or interception. It was a mix of both, but it was beautiful. And he done it again later in the game, a block, I think it was. But both boxes, Gabriel is our man. You know, a couple. Gabriel's our man. So again,
I think he deserves a full segment. Jordan,
I mean, despite a lot of kind of nerves and anxiety, I guess, from a lot of us, including me, regarding the Spurs game, it actually was, when you really think about it, and this maybe is hindsight, it was the perfect fixture for us because we always beat Spurs at home. And the way they play, as you say, James, we were always going to maybe not score lots of goals, but we're going to definitely create lots of chances. So this was if you could pick one fixture after that United game, it would be home against Spurs, because we always beat Spurs at home. Just on a couple of positives. First of all, on Gabriel as well, I agree with everything Turkey said. That tackle is insane. That is it's so good. It's hard to actually describe. It's with his wrong foot as well. It's with his wrong foot, and it's just he's so good. There will be a chat soon, I think, maybe not yet, but very, very soon, about whether he's actually better than Saliba. That chat has to come soon, because I know Saliba's the silkier one. He's the prettier one, but I think there's a genuine chat that's going to come down the line about who the better is. And look, we've got them both. So some would say, who cares? We've got both of them. But I think Gabriel is really, really getting into that conversation now. I want to give a different perspective on Trossard, right? You guys have praised him in the sense of his performance on the game, and rightfully so. But I want to hold him accountable for his season, because he scored that goal, and I think the keeper should save it, but he scored the goal, and then he's asking the Spurs fans, I can't hear you now, or where's the noise now? But as an Arsenal fan, I'm saying I've not seen you all season. So you can't just rock up in one game, score a goal, and act like you're a bad boy, like I do this. I don't think we have to hold him accountable for his season. Go on, Lee.
Yeah, sorry, Jordan, just to interrupt you there. Like, the reason that they done that was because Son done it went down, and when he scored, he went all like shush and all around. He went and celebrated with us, like, you know what I mean? And I think that's why Miles Lewis Skelly done it as well, like, you know what I mean? Like, there was because of they started that.
I get the banter. I get the banter, but I mean, I've been really, 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 really hard on the flirter all season, as you guys know. He's been just as bad. So you can't just since Villa, I've not seen you. Since Aston Villa at Villa Park, I've not seen you. And you rock up and you score a goal and you're moving it's like, bro, like, have a little bit of humility. Maybe got caught up in the banter, maybe. But I told myself, bro, score your goal. He had a decent performance, I agree, after that goal as well. But I just thought, come on, man, you've not been good this season. So I didn't love the kind of, I didn't love that, because I still remember all the games where you've been invisible and we've needed you and you haven't stepped up. Having said that, he will be going into my FPL team this weekend because he's a streaky player. So I will be picking him in my fantasy team this week. We are really bad in front of goal, guys. We are so bad in front of goal. And it's Spurs, and we won the game yesterday. But I've seen too many games this season, guys, where we have created chances, we haven't scored, and the opposition scored the first goal. One chance, one goal. I know they had two, you're right, Lee, but I've seen too many games this season where teams are scoring with their first and only chance of a half. And it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us. We have to put these chances away. People are talking about we should have won 5 and 6. And yeah, okay, but you're never going to score all your chances. Just give me 3-1. Just make it look like it was a convincing win, which it actually was. It wasn't a 2-1 game. It was not a 2-1 game. But if you keep missing all these chances, I'm telling you, a different day, a different team, that's 2-2. That game is 2-2. So yeah, big up the team for winning the game yesterday. North London derby, 3 points. We've cut the leads. Liverpool, great. But as always, I'm looking big picture. And you can't miss all those chances. It's really, really bad. I heard Curtis's fan cam saying about Odegaard and how he calls him now pillar foot, and it is actually really really odd how when he shoots, he said it's like it hurts when he shoots the ball, and I kind of know what he's saying. So when he strikes the ball, he's not a bad striker of the ball. He's a clean striker of the ball, but this season his finishing has been atrocious. And I can't help but wonder if he's got if the ankle's not quite right, if it does hurt when he shoots the ball. I don't know, but some of his finishing is absolutely diabolical. You factor in Havertz and the other guys finishing as well. We can't maintain this. We can't be creating 4 or 5 chances against Spurs and only scoring 2 goals. It's not sustainable. So for all the joy I think we're taken away from the fact that we won the game and need a game, again, big picture, we've got to put these chances away, guys. And just going back to Gabriel as well, I know it was an own goal, but it's another big goal in a big game. His Big Six record is incredible. I think, I'm going to check it, but I think that's his 4th goal against Spurs. I think he's definitely got 3, but I think he
It's
might
his
have
third man
4
of the match.
Against Spurs.
Hmm.
His record in big games is just so good. Miles Lewis-Skelly, you guys have been watching lyrical about him as well. Yeah, big up the boys, because it was a game we needed to win. Now it's about, can they maintain that? Because a little bit like I thought when United got the 2-2 against Liverpool, it can be easy to be up for a game against your biggest rivals, right? Cool. Villa are not rubbish, and can you follow it up? That's my concern now. So pick up the 3 points, but there's still things in that game which for me I don't see title winners just yet.
Did you guys not feel that this was better though, in terms, and again with the same caveat that Spurs maybe allow this, but did you guys not feel that this was a better performance in terms of the individual performances from some players, in terms of the pace on the ball? I actually thought we were passing it. It wasn't just get it wide and cross to the back post. I thought we had way more ideas in the way we wanted to attack. And it wasn't just because of turnovers or a high line. I felt Spurs, especially for that first 20 minutes, did get into a low block. But, you know, we talk about that block from the Trossard shot. That comes from a really good switch to Rice, who then touches it to Trossard. There was some good moments. You know, won the ball high up the pitch. Sterling had a poor game. I'm not trying to paper over cracks and pretend he didn't, but he makes that darting central run off a Lewis-Skelly pass. I thought there was a lot more about the way we attacked Spurs in this game. And again, maybe they allow for it, but I thought generally, like, when Isak scored and we were 1-0 down in that Carabao Cup game, I went, set piece or something's going to bail us out at best. But and I know we had chances, but it came through the same kind of manufactured rhythms of play. In this game, I thought, no, we'll get chances, because I felt there was a lot more variety to the way we were attacking their goal.
Do you know what, James? I think I've only seen the highlights back, got in last night and watched the highlights. Didn't get to bed till 3 o'clock in the morning because of it. But what I will say is that when I watched the Newcastle game, I realised that we was better than what I thought we was on the day. Yesterday, I've watched the highlights and that, and you've got to realise how poor Spurs are, and also that game yesterday. They just played into our hands, you know what I mean? When you look at Newcastle, Newcastle went 1-0 up and made sure they never give us a sniff. By they weren't going to play around at the back. They weren't going to do this and that. Tottenham yesterday went 1-0 down. 1-0 up, and then even at 1-1. That pass into Basuma is a risky pass and a risky bit of play, which we've no reward whatsoever to it. All that happened was we picked him off, and that wouldn't have happened against Newcastle. That wouldn't have happened against Manchester United. They played, you know, a different way of playing. In saying that, we were so much better because of it, like, you know, but we were so much better against Brentford. We were so much better against Crystal Palace, because they come and played against us. You know, other teams have not done that, and that was the thing. I'm not being all with it. We hunted them down because we haven't been able to do that in other games, because the defenders just got the ball and cleared it, like, you know. But they just give you chance after chance yesterday, and I think that if we would have been a little bit more a little bit more clear. There was our decision making, not just with chances. There were a couple of chances that Havertz could have scored at open goals. I think maybe he would have had a go with confidence, but he's trying to lay it off to someone else and all that. I have not seen us get as many chances. Given we created, you're right what you're saying. We created some chances, but also their goalkeeper and the way they played allowed us so many more chances than what a Newcastle or a Man United or what would have given us, like, you know. And I think that's what you have to say. Who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean?
You are right. You are right. That is the context of our performance as well.
Yeah, but the end of it, like, you know, what we done yesterday was that sometimes you have to play what's in front. You have to break. You know, they never let us. We found it very, very difficult of breaking teams down. We still probably do. Yesterday, we broke them down because of their poor play at times, but. I do agree with you. There was the move for the Declan Rice one, you know, when it was a lovely little layback and all that. That was good football. That was good football. And when you say about Odegaard just have a look at his performance yesterday, like, you know what I mean? His foot ain't hurting and things like that, you know what I mean? Like Curtis knows that. Like, he's just a different player when he gets into the box. Some of his football yesterday, his touches, his runs, the way he created space yesterday is unbelievable. But when he gets into the box, his first touch is nowhere near as sublime as what it is when he's got three players around him in midfield. I don't know why, but it is, you know. But listen, I think if we be really honest about it, the big highlight is that we need a striker. And I'm going to say it now: if we get a striker, guys, we're in with a chance of winning this league. Because I watched Liverpool the other day; they're good, but they're not this Manchester City that we're going to go and relentlessly win. They've got slips in them. They've got, you know, and they go again before us against Brentford. That's not a guarantee. You know, away from home, it's tough. You know, I mean, last time around when we're playing against Man City, you're thinking, oh, and all of a sudden they're 3-4-0 away. You think, oh my God. I think Liverpool will slip up. And it's so important. That's the first time I think that Liverpool over the last few weeks have slipped up or they've not won their game, and we didn't back it up. We did last night, you know what I mean? That was the key. There was a lot of pressure on us yesterday from what had happened in the last couple of games, what had happened on the Tuesday, and I think that we got it spot on yesterday. Like, you know, thank you, Tottenham Hotspur. Jordan, you're exactly right. I always said that was the team we needed because, one, the fans were going to be up for it, and Tottenham are always going to give you chances like they did. And in fact, when you think about it, he went more Ange ball in the second half, and we didn't have as many chances as they did when they was a little bit defensive. Like, you know what I mean? Even though they was a little bit defensive, more with they still, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we'll give you chances. We'll let you up. So listen, I
had 3 in the second half as well. And
yes, but I thought we played a little bit more control in the second half, James. That first half was going back to how it was, but we was more controlled, looked to pick them off. I thought defensively outstanding from all of them, like yesterday, like Lee, in that first half, second half. But
Lee, you mentioned defending there. Just quickly, can I big up? There was a brilliant bit of defending from Saliba on Spence. Really quality bit of. He kind of saw him off. People thought it was a penalty, but it wasn't. It was brilliant, patient, but strong. It was really just like people won't make the highlights real. I get it.
Was it on Solanke? I think it was on Solanke.
Nah, Jed Spence.
No, it was Jed Spence. It was really
in the second half.
Yeah, just moved him out of the way.
Yeah.
I
just thought it was a real competent bit of defending where he didn't kind of. That's very easy to kind of put your foot in, and then before you know it, the guy goes over. It's a penalty. But it was real intelligent, patient defending. Just saw him off.
I know the one you're on about. Yeah,
I just wanted to flag
all four of them had a moment. There was that from Saliba. There was Gabriel you mentioned with Gabriel had many moments, but there was that interception tackle in the first half against Solanke. For me, we mentioned Lewis Skelly, the recovery on Kulusevski and Timber. It was when Richarlison came on, and they were trying to use Richarlison almost as like a wide target man, pinning the ball into him. And Timber just got tight, just went, no, absolutely not, winning the ball back. And I'm thinking, how is this guy playing like this with the amount of football he's played this season, coming off against Man United, playing 100 and however many minutes? and yeah, all the whole back four. There was a moment which I just applauded, sort of quietly
just
to
go back-
myself for some of their individual moments.
Just come back to Lewis Kelly quickly as well. He might have saved the club about 50, 60 million, because if we
Yeah.
can get rid of a couple of our left backs and just maybe keep one as backup to him, that's an area now in theory you don't really need to worry about for the next few years. You've got a left back. Sell Zinchenko, you can get 20 mil for him. You can probably sell Kivior or Tomiyasu. I don't know if you can get money for Tomiyasu now, but you can probably sell 2 left backs or 2 defenders already that can bring you in 30, 40 mil. Do you know what I mean? Lewis Kelly
And a midfielder. He might have saved us some
I'm
midfield.
going to say that, Jay, I'll be very surprised by the time he's 21, 22, when he develops, that he's not midfield. I'll be very, very surprised.
His qualities is suits it so much.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, he ain't developed yet, like physically. So maybe sometime, I don't know. When I was younger, they said, look, you know, eventually you'll play midfield, like centre midfield, but you're not physically strong for it. So we'll play you wide at the moment. Like, I think that's what they're doing with him until he gets developed. Some of his football yesterday and intelligent. That he made a run through the midfield. He burst through the midfield. He's got close control. Not only that, at the end of it, he's got the pass on him as well. Like, I'll be very, very surprised. You know what I mean? And don't forget, this is the first time he's ever played left back as well. Like, you know what I mean? He's never played this position in the youth team or whatever until he's playing in the first team. Like, you know, he's always played midfield. And they've sort of changed his position. I honestly think that he will end up in midfield. I just think that, whoa,
big up Mertesacker. Big up Mertesacker, the academy, because they're bringing through some gems. They're bringing through some gems, man. Big them up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. I mentioned it earlier. Do you lot also get a different vibe from Mikel in the press conferences last 2-3 days? Maybe it coincides with the Kroenke visit or something along those lines. But am I the only one noticing a different level of confidence in what he's saying about the forwards?
You know, Turkish, when you said company man after the game the other day, look, I didn't disagree with you because, you know, I'm scared to. I'm joking. But I thought I really wanted to internalize that. Like, do I really think he's just trying to be a mouthpiece for the Kroenkes and just protect them? Because everything we've seen up till this point, and by the way, I get why you were saying that in terms of some of the comments and you know, some of the things in press conferences. Up to this point, though, he's been the one setting the standard. I know we talk about the standards as fans, whatever. But he's been the one setting the standard, saying the right things on the final day when we missed out on the title, saying the right things in bad moments, even when we were in a really bad moment in 2020, and he was like, "My chest is here," kind of hit me. You know, things that he's always kind of saying the right things. And I wondered, you know, is he really just sort of masking for the Kroenkes? And I think 2 things can be true. I think he can be doing that because ultimately there is employers. And, you know, I think even if he isn't happy with what they're doing, he's going to have to act like he is, just in the hope that they'll do what he wants them to do. But I think whether he is or isn't, I don't question whether he is demanding the most from the club. I think he is behind the scenes. Whether he's not getting that and then he has to put a brave face on the press conference, whether that's right or wrong, we can talk about that. But I do think he's someone who is like not just desperate to win. I think he's obsessed with it. Like, I think he's a really intense person behind the scenes, and I think he's wanting more from the club. And I think maybe, you know, it's not maybe so much about what he wants to do that we have a problem with. It's more the communication with the fans and communicating to us that, you know, it's impossible that we didn't win this game against Man United, when we're all like, please stop, because we know this team now and you can't pull the wool over our eyes. But yeah, I do sense going into this game, and then what he said yesterday, you know, saying, yes, for sure, we are trying in the market. It was a bit more direct. It was a bit more like, we don't need you to tell us about market opportunities, that January is a difficult window. We know that. Just tell us you're trying. Just say, yes, like, we want to. We are looking. And then he said the Jesus one makes the situation more urgent. I'm like, yes, thank you. That's what we're saying. It's nice to hear you say it. So, yeah, I do think there's a difference in tone. And it just cemented more of what I thought he'd be feeling. And when he wasn't saying those things, I was a bit like, but I know this doesn't line up with everything he'd been saying in the previous 5 years.
It didn't line up, no.
Turkish, can I say something which is very important? Like while we're talking about Arteta, my mate Mark brought this up yesterday, so big up to him. And I don't know if it's true, but it's made me think about it. He thinks he's being very clever, and he says, "Look, listen." He brought up the ball situation. We're all going, "Oh, what's he going on about the ball for?" and all that. Like we're talking about that instead of the player. So it's a way of protecting the player, like, you know what I mean? Like then he comes out with, "Oh, we played really, we should have won this game yesterday." You know what I mean? All of a sudden, we're not having a go at Havertz, or we're not having a go. We're having a go at him. So maybe in a way, I haven't seen it like this. It was, and you might think it's rubber, whatever, but maybe he's deflecting. Maybe he's more calculated than what we think that he is. And he says these things because when you look about it, no one was saying about missing everything. So we're talking about the balls, and all of a sudden it's all on him. He puts it all on him. And if you're a footballer and a player and you're not quite doing well, and you see your manager going out there and sort of protecting you in a way, maybe that's a good thing, like, you know what I mean? And
but Lee, that would be fine if he's taking all the bullets in the interim. That's fine if in the background work is being done to get deals done. One of my biggest issues with Arsenal is that I don't understand. We seem to be the only club that take a month or more to get a deal done. It's like a week when we're looking at so and so player, then it's a week we're going for this player. The bid goes in. Then it's 3-4 more days. Yep, we're flying over to Milan or to Madrid or to Paris to do the. Then it's 2 more days. Yep, we're chatting to the player. Negotiations are going well. Then it's 2 more days. Yep, he's doing a medical. Before you know, Man City from bid to play in the shirt a week. The whole thing is a week. Why does it take Arsenal so long to get deals done? And I go back to my point on the last pod. We needed a striker for the 4 games this month that have just gone.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So if what you're saying, if your theory is correct, that makes sense. If in the background, if he's taking all the flack because in the background a deal's being done, we can accept that then. But I don't have any real strong confidence that a deal is being done. I think what James is saying is right. I think they probably want players, but all this talk and all this, and I agree with Turkish, the rhetoric has changed from him. But for me, I don't care about any of that. All I care about is, can you get in the right players that we need? Because A, I'm not convinced that we will, but also, why does it take so long? Liverpool, Chelsea, City, their deals get done in a week. From, like I said, from bid to man in a shirt, it's 7 days. With us, it's like 7 days of we're linked to so-and-so, we're linked to this. What's going on? We're keen on this player.
Interested in.
I don't know if you noticed yesterday, but Saka was there yesterday on crutches. You know what I mean? He ain't coming back in 2 months. He was still on crutches yesterday. You know what I mean? So, you know, he ain't coming back in 2 months. So basically, like, you know, I don't know why they sort of.
What do we make of Josh Kroenke being in town? What do we make of that? Is that just it's the derby? You know, obviously there's fan pressure. Is it just a good look? Is he actually here to? I kind of look because look, I'm not trying to shit on Josh Kroenke's visit. I don't really know what him being here adds that he doesn't add from being somewhere else on the phone. Listen, great, he's here. I'm glad our owner shows up for a big North London derby. We need to win, by the way. We've talked about them being absent. So thumbs up. I just wonder what that adds from a actual getting a transfer perspective, unless there's something I'm missing.
Nothing, James.
No?
I don't know if we should care. I agree with you. It's good that he comes to the big games, rare. But in terms of getting deals done, he can get a deal done from America. He can communicate on the phone. And do you know what I mean? I don't think him being there makes me think a deal is close.
Personally, I think the personal touch is good.
Yeah, no. I agree, and I think that's what it is. If it's a case of the Kroenkes and the Arsenal board never planned to spend big in this window, and it's like, right, fly in. Here I am, I'm part of the team. Let's get to work. What do I need to do? But I just wonder what that looks like. I don't know. I just don't know if it's good optics or if it actually adds something. I don't know. I'm just wondering.
I think it is, and I'll tell you why. Because the LA Rams have just gone through in the playoffs, right? You know what I mean? Like, so it's a big week for them and for the Rams. You know what I mean? Going into the next stage of the of the NFL. But he's over here. I think it's big. You know what I mean? Like, so it means to me that, yeah, the Yellow Rams is a big thing for them and all that, like, but so is Arsenal. You know what I mean? Like, they've had a great win on, I think they played Sunday. Did they play Sunday night or something like that? And he's over here on Monday.
No idea what they're doing.
I think, yeah,
I don't know anything about them.
I think that they played Sunday night and he's over here on Monday. So listen, he ain't celebrating with them all. It's a massive win for them, but he's over here. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that. Like, there were times when you thought, oh, are they really interested in Arsenal or this and this and that? I think it's
this is what I'm saying. Is it optics? Because now all this is being said. Is it? Look, I'm here at the derby, and Josh is in town, and we got to do some business. I just, and look, I'm not here to shit on it, but I'm also not here to like heap loads of praise on it. Let's get the players in. If it's Josh is in town, £60 million just went in from Burmo, I'd be like, well, great, okay, something got a bit urgent as he arrived back in town, but I just,
nah, not in Beaumont. You can't. Nah.
Go on. What would you make
of Josh Kroenke to come from America to sign in Beaumont? If we do, fuck me, we're in a bad position. If he's coming down, let's go sign the next man. The next man, not the next backup or rotation option. If you're coming down with the glitz and glamour, then something must follow. That's glitz and glamour.
That kind of thing.
Then I can be on this pod saying, yo, remember what it was like just a week ago? Out of the FA Cup, all hands on deck, season over, Josh Kroenke flies in and we sign Nico Williams. That's how this needs to end, or we sign Gyökeres or sign Osimhen. Then I'd be like, all right, he acted, he came down, maybe he didn't need to. I agree with Jordan, you can do it, via video link or whatever, about Image Gang, I get it. But it needs to end. I can't give him praise for just coming over. I need to see like what's going to happen. We don't know yet.
You raised something interesting there, Turkish, because if he came and we suddenly just paid the release clause, and notoriously release clause have to be paid in full. So if he flew in, obviously we just had the Zubimendi news. If he came in and suddenly just that 45 million was dropped on Nico Williams, or 60, 70, whatever it is on Gyökeres, release clause in full, then I'm almost like, okay, I kind of get it. I can understand why you probably want to be in the city, in the country, while you're doing a particular deal. Release clauses are a particular deal where you have to part with that amount of cash, and maybe things need to be moved around. I have no idea how transfers work, but that makes a bit more sense to me. That's like, oh, I get it. So I know what you mean. If it kind of results in something a bit special in the transfer window, I've said in Bema because I think he's a really good player, and he's going to cost about as much as these other players on release clauses. But you're right. Something like that, I'd go, I kind of get it. But look, ultimately, our owner showed up for the North London derby at a bit of a time of need for Arsenal. I don't mind that. I'm not one of these who thinks the owners need to be there every single game. I actually don't think they need to show their face all the time. I think good owners allow everything to run properly, but they're there to, turn the right, press the right buttons when the club's in need. And that's exactly what the position we're in now. So I don't really mind that. But I just kind of wondered, what does the visit necessarily mean, unless it's hopefully to try and make something big happen? I'm not trying to get people's hopes up. I just think that's what you would hope it amount to. So let's see. So what we say, second mural then, or?
Yeah, Lee's getting the paint buckets ready.
I saw a nice little space just before you go into the.
Of course you did. You did. Yeah. What about this new? Well, I say news. I mean, loose rumors that Arteta's getting more power off the back of the shape shifting in the structure and Edu going, and
no, it's reports, man. David Ornstein, I think, has said it.
Okay. Wait, Lee, you shaking your head? I mean, is everyone?
No one knows. How do you know what's going on and all that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, look, listen, all I know is the one thing I do know is that Edu and Arteta were had a good relationship, very, very friendly. Edu used to big up Arteta all the time. You know what I mean? So look, something did happen, and listen, we all know that. But what it is all speculation. There's only one person knows, and he's never going to come out and say it. So that's it.
I disagree with that. David Ornstein will know. He'll know who at the club is involved in what. And I think, look, I thought Arteta's influence was really up there because, I mean, from day one of signing players, it was, well, the player spoke to Mikel and they were sold on the project. So we know his influence has been big. I just wonder whether, where I agree with you, Lee, is we don't really know. Does Arteta say I want a player, and then someone else has to go, do the deal, and then maybe Mikel has to get on the phone and try convince them or whatever? I don't know. But what I would say is, people mention Alabe at Sociedad, or I can't think of a single other sporting director now, but there's 2-3 others have been mentioned. I'm, except for the forward line, I'm largely more trusting of Arteta and what he wants, largely.
He might have been let down, James. I think Arteta's probably
He might have been. He might have been
let down.
Or he got exactly what he wanted, and that's
it's not my fault.
Sometimes.
I don't know. Something obviously happened. Their relationships obviously broke down because it was such, you know what I mean? Like it was strong, and the passion that Edu was saying 3 months before that, when we was talking to him in America, is something happened. You know what I mean? People go, oh, no, but at the end of the day, listen, Mikel should have all the power.
I disagree.
No. When it comes to team selection, it's his team. You don't want players. Yeah. You don't want to be given players that you don't want to. I think it can cause problems. I can be really honest about. I don't really know if he wants Sterling. That's why probably hasn't played him all that much.
We definitely didn't. Look at the way he's using. We definitely didn't.
No.
But it's such a fine line between look. A lot of people say Klopp wanted who was it? Julian Brandt, and I think Michael Edwards went, I'm giving you Mo Salah. Now, Liverpool fans, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think I read that somewhere. Sadio Mane was one that the scouts and the data and people looked at and went, this guy is so much better than we're seeing at Southampton, and he's going to explode at Liverpool. You need those specialists out there. So I don't want Arteta to have all the power and get it all his own way.
Yeah, I get
but
that.
I largely think if he's the manager and he's picking these players, we've seen firsthand with the Sterling one where it looks like he was basically just giving him, because they could. I just think largely, if you're going to back the guy and give him what he actually wants rather than and give him more influence in that. But, we saw that as Wenger got more influence, it wasn't a good thing for him necessarily. So, yeah, it's a really fine line. I don't really know, having never seen behind the scenes, I don't really know what that fine line looks like, to be honest.
I think he's got too much power personally. I think this is true of any club. I don't think any one person should have, any club should be built around one individual, especially a manager. And I think we're moving into a space where he's becoming the single most influential person at Arsenal Football Club. I think as a manager, I think he's brilliant. And I think he should have a say in things like recruitment and transfers. I think it seems like, it seems like he has quite a big say and a bit too much of a say for me. I think the way clubs are run now, I think you have to have a structure above the manager that looks at the next 10 years. Arteta won't be here in 10 years, but the board and the people above him have to protect the next decade of the club. And that factors in the finances. That looks at, where this club is going to go. And if one component isn't going to be here when that happens, I don't think that person should be heavily involved in that process. So I'm a little concerned that he, as a single entity, is growing in influence, because I don't think that for any club, any one person should. The Ferguson Wenger days, I think, worked in their day. I don't think they're, as clubs become more business-like now, I don't think they're advisable now. I don't think it's a good idea.
What I'd love to know, Jordan? I'd love to know when the scouts went through all the midfielders in world football that they wanted to sign, and ultimately the shortlist was, it resulted in Mikel Merino, for example, coming in. Did Arteta have this beaming smile on his face going, yes, give me that player? Or was he told, look, you've got about 35 million to spend on this guy, so you're not getting Kroenke and Marias? I'd love to know. I'd love to know. Was he like...
Or the third option, did he tell them, I want Merino?
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I mean, I'd love to know that. Did Sterling, I think we know the answer to that. Kai Havertz, I think, is the one that I look at. I think Arteta really wanted that player. Just look at the way he's used him. And that slightly concerns me to a degree, because, look, we've gone 54 minutes and not mentioned him. And by the way, it goes without saying that the abuse his wife's received, wife partner has received on social media is utterly disgusting. Obviously has to be mentioned because that's not okay. I thought Arteta spoke really well on that. Part of that aside, because we're talking purely about football criticism here, I thought Havertz was really poor against Spurs. Really poor. But that's all I'll say. We don't need to dwell on it. We won the derby. Mikel wanted that player. I don't think he was ever a plan until they realised that Chelsea had their issues and had to sell. And they pivoted and went, give me that guy. Now, that concerns me slightly. But I just wonder, Calafiori, I think he wanted. I think that was probably a top target. But I just, Fabio Vieira, I just wonder. Was he told, like, look, you need a creative... Did he say I need a creative midfielder? And they went, yeah, but you also want a left-back in Zinchenko and a striker in Gabby Jesus. So we can't give you, 2 60, 70 million pound players in those positions. It's going to be about 100 million all in. And as he had to go, all right, well, I'll take a shot on this Fabio guy. Probably won't start because I've got Erdegaard, so I don't need to worry if it goes too wrong. I'll go Jesus and I'll go Zinchenko because I know them. Or did he go, I know these guys, give me them? And by the way, I'm not saying it's one or the other. I'd love to know these things. But Havertz, I think, was absolutely the one he wanted. Timber Havertz-Rice, I think that's the summer he got pretty much exactly what he wanted. And lo and behold, it was a £200 million summer. So I think
I'll tell you
So
else he
was Ben White, Ramsdale, Partey, though. That's that summer as well.
He wanted Raya, didn't he?
Yeah.
He wanted Raya.
Erdegaard,
Ramsdale, Ben White, Partey.
They aged better, though.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It was really
Gabriel,
interesting about Ben White when he turned around and said to Ben White, I don't know if you've seen that interview, when he turned around and said, don't worry. He got on the phone to him and said, you will become an Arsenal player, because they were haggling over the price and all that, So in the end, he's got on the phone and said, "Don't worry, you will be coming to the Arsenal." So, and probably if you look back at that, guys, 50 million at the time was probably a lot of money over the top for Ben White. Would we all agree with that? Even though it's been a fantastic signing, but he made sure that was over the line. And the Zubamendi one looks like he's influenced that, isn't it? If that is true, that he is coming to the Arsenal. So I do think that there are times when he may push it. Like it's like anything, I suppose. I'll push for this one and maybe not that one.
Can I just say on Zubamendi, my celebration of that transfer is like on hold. If Arsenal do what they need to do in this window, I'll then go.
You can enjoy it.
We got Zubamendi coming in the summer. I'm fucking gassed about it. I mean, this is one of, if not the most sought after number 6 in world football. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Liverpool have all been legitimately linked with this guy. If we pick him up, of which the reports are saying, listen, it's really looking like it's going to happen. I mean, Sammy Mockbell's all but said he said it's virtually done. Those are his words. I mean, I will say, but we have to do this window. If we do, we get someone I'm genuinely excited by. I'll be going, we've just added this forward, a serious midfielder in the summer, and then I can go into the summer going, well, there's one forward already addressed. Waneri's a year older. We've added a midfielder. Give me another forward, maybe 2, and we can talk about what else the summer needs. But then I can actually enjoy it. I'll be like, hey.
There's been quite a lot in the past week since the horror week, let's say, or the past few days, in terms of Kroenke's come to London, Arteta's got more power, Zubamendi deal's close to being agreed. I don't give a shit about any of these things, but what Mikel's now saying in the press conference is we need players and we're going in for players, because now is what matters, especially when Liverpool have just opened the door slightly ajar. Now is what matters. So Zubamendi, I like him. I think it's a quality addition. And I think with Jorginho and Partey, contracts finishing, I think quality. You think ahead, you move forward. That is, maximizing every window. That is an example of it there. Let's get the examples of it for January now. Because even the whole Arteta more power stuff, sorry, I had a delivery that I had to bring in. He's had power for a while. He
Yeah.
got made manager within the first 8 months from head coach. Let's not forget that comes with a lot of power. Let's not forget all or nothing. He was the one that wanted Obergon, the rest of them in the room saying, "Oh, but it's what he wants." So this news that he's got more power is also a nice. Here's some, here's some PR. It's it's not. He's had a hell of a lot of power. Whether right or wrong, I don't listen to that and think, oh, it's going to be a welcome change. No, I really don't. And I don't care who the sporting director is, because I feel like Mikel has got it's his club at this moment in time. That's what the Kroenkes like as owners. They like a manager that will take the mantle of sorting everything from top to bottom upwards. But Aston Villa weekend, I mean,
Aston Villa,
if we were to perform the same against Villa that we did against Tottenham, do we win the game?
No.
Yeah.
You agree? You disagree? Sorry.
Yeah, I think we would. I think Villa will try play a bit. I think we can pick him off with a high press. I think we did that a lot last season. I think they also can have quite a high line, though. That was a trait of them last season. I don't know if we've seen it as much this season. I don't think they're quite, touch wood, this will bite me, but I don't think they're quite as potent as they were this, the campaign just gone. Yeah, I think look, any club that you put in that kind of finishing performance against, you're playing with fire. But I think if we, besides the finishing, if we replicate most of what we did against Spurs, the high press, defensively, I thought we were fine. It was only from minute 20 to 25 when they had the Gabriel interception on Solanke, the Kulusevski shot from Raya, and then the goal. 3 moments, and they were big moments, to be fair, all in 3-4 minutes. I don't think Spurs did anything. So I think Ollie Watkins probably punishes you more. So yeah, I think we need to level up. We need to keep leveling up. I think that was all right. I think that was enough.
So does Morgan Rogers in the midfield, though. I feel like we're going
to a far better team than Tottenham.
Yeah,
far better team than Tottenham. Prove it. I don't know where Tottenham are in the league, where Aston Villa are to be. Let's have a quick look. Like, you know what I mean?
So Villa won at Everton last night. Watkins scored 1-0. Just having a look at their results. 1-0 they beat West Ham 2-1 in the cup. They beat Leicester 2-1. They drew 2-2 at Brighton. They lost 3-0 at Newcastle. They beat City 2-1. They lost 2-1 at Forest. Bit of a mixed bag of results there, but it is 3 wins in a row for them. And even their wins haven't been particularly, extraordinary.
They're not as good as Newcastle. They're not as good as Newcastle.
No.
They're better than Man United and they're better than Spurs. You know what I mean? So, listen.
But they're
Tottenham are
closer
no
to
different to Man United, and we couldn't do that. Like, again, there's a blueprint how to beat Arsenal. Tottenham didn't go with that blueprint. They didn't. You know what I mean? Brentford didn't go with a blueprint. Look what happened to them. Crystal Palace didn't go with a blueprint. If Aston Villa, and I'm pretty sure Emery will be going to that blueprint, they will not give up the chances that Tottenham did. So we're going to have to create, and that's my problem. I think if this is, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't win this game.
But can I just, sorry, this is really fascinating. And I know it's a bit casual to sort of just look at the league table and make assumptions, but sometimes the data is really telling. They're 7th in the table, okay? They've not lost that many games, 6 games in 21. That's, it's not crazy. About 35 points. So they're 3 points off Newcastle. So there's lots of encouragement there. I think they're handling themselves really well in the Champions League, but they've got a -1 goal difference. Tottenham in 13th have a +11. They've conceded 32 goals. Only Brentford in the top 10 have conceded more. And Brentford, having conceded more, 37, which is 5 more than Villa, actually have a +3 goal difference. So something about Villa isn't right. That just doesn't. That's very strange. Good. Emery's done a fantastic job there. They got Champions League football last season. They're handling themselves great in the Champions League, like I just mentioned. And John Duran, Ollie Watkins, they've just signed Daniel Marlin. They've got some firepower. There's no question about that. And they've got some quality in midfield. I don't think this is going to be easy. Far from it. But something isn't quite adding up about Villa. And I'm a bit of a casual. I don't really follow them too much. But I'll be interested to see if any of that rears its head on Saturday.
I think for Arsenal, for many of us that feel the title probably is gone, even with the points gap. I think for Arsenal now, it's about just keeping in touch and just keeping the pressure on. You know, it's 4 points in a game in hand. So I think Liverpool will beat Everton, but we don't know. But let's say they do, that's 7 points. I just think we have to just keep in touch. You know, it's not insurmountable. Brentford could take points off Liverpool, but regardless, we've just got to do our job. We've just got to do our job. We've just got to keep in touch and also capitalize on our home games. We're kind of blessed that this month, all of our games, I think, apart from one, are all at home. So whilst we're at home, we've just got to capitalize on that and utilize that the fact that we've got home advantage. We beat Villa away. I agree with James. Villa are a really, really good team, but something isn't quite right there. They on paper they should be doing better than they actually are.
The numbers just don't add up. How are you
Yeah.
7 3 points off top 4 with a -1 goal difference? That's really strange. Like it just doesn't. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I'm being a casual really with them.
But I'm
They've
concerned
scored the
about
least goals in the top 10. Sorry, I just did what we apologized for earlier, which has interrupted you 1,000 times.
No, it's
They've scored the least. 31 goals is the lowest goal tally in the top. No, it's not. Forest with 30. They're third. This season's a myth.
It's mad.
Okay, carry on.
I just think the win is important. One, just to kind of put together a little run. Two, a bit of morale. I think morale needs to be high. And three, like I say, it's a home game. You've got to win your home games. The North London derby is great, but these are the games for me where I'm judging Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And they've got to put their chances away. We can't afford to keep creating and missing these chances. They've got some good attackers. They will score goals. So yeah, just keep the pressure on. Because if Brentford get anything out of Liverpool, this is the window. If Brentford get anything out of Liverpool, this is the chance to really stick it on them. If Brentford can get a draw and we beat Villa, the gap then goes to two points in a game in hand. Do you know what I mean? Then you're like, okay.
Does
game
that
on.
Create a... I remember, and it was in the title run, so it was different, but I remember when Arsenal, I think, played Brighton at home, and we were thinking, oh, Goodison Park, Man City are going there, and City won 3-0. I think you often reference this, Lee, that it just sucked the energy out the stadium a little bit. Now, that was in the run-in. I think it was in the final 10 games. But is there a danger that if Liverpool go and win and flex a little bit at Brentford, they will give chances away, to be fair, Brentford, do we just go in a little bit flatter, or do you just think that doesn't... Listen, I don't think it should matter. I think as fans, Emery's in town, and we know that that's been made some weird rivalry that exists for some reason. Villa, who kind of ended our title hopes last season, I feel like it should be loud. It should be exciting. It's a 5:30 kickoff. It's going to be under the lights at the Emirates. I think in so many ways, the atmosphere should be fantastic. We should be really up for it on the back of beating Tottenham. I just wonder whether Liverpool can take the air out of it a little bit.
Liverpool, how I see it, James, is that Liverpool are going to win games because they're a good side. You know what I mean? Like the chances are that they'll probably go and beat Brentford. I think when we go back to that one there, it was like, oh, they've got to lose sometime, and they didn't. They deflated you like that. That Man City done that. I do think that Liverpool are still capable of losing a game or dropping points at home, as they did against Man United. They've shown vulnerabilities. I think with Man City, they didn't show those vulnerabilities, and that's why it sucked the life out of us. Listen, I think they can get something against Brentford. If I'm a betting man, probably like Liverpool, will bounce back in this one, but that doesn't mean to say that they won't drop further down the line. Listen, if we go into that game and Liverpool have dropped points, wow, then it'll be a pressure game, you know what I mean? Because this could be telling. I know, like people say that we've been in this position where a week ago, 2 weeks ago, they could have been 12 points in front of us, and all of a sudden it's only 2. You know what I mean? It does start to worry you, like, So, and that game against Everton, I agree with, on paper you're thinking Everton ain't going to win that, but like Tottenham yesterday, it wasn't anything could have happened in that game like yesterday. I walked out of that ground physically a wreck. You know what I mean? It's a different watch. It's a different watch to another game. Come on, it is like, you know what I mean? Like oh God, I hate that game. So it does suck the life out of you, and it does as fans and whatever, So that game's not a gimme for Liverpool. let me tell you and it's at Everton, and it's a midweek game now, and it's the last time ever at Goodison Park. Like, you know what I mean? David Moyes is there now. Like, you know, I think anybody thinks it's a guaranteed 3 points. It isn't. You know, they could easily lose or slip up in that game, but they might win it. But I know for a fact, like, you know, watching that game yesterday, it's a completely different watch to any other game in the season. So it's not a gimme.
And I think also as well, so final point on the Villa game, going back to our match, if you win the game on the weekend, you buy yourself a bit more time in terms of, look, I personally think Saka and Jesus should be just right. The season's done for them. I'd write them off for the season. But Ben White, you know, if we can kind of stay close and get a couple of players back from injury, get a couple of players back into form, just keep that gap to 7 points max. Just keep it and try and nibble away at it. You buy yourself some time to get some players back into form. This time next month, Havertz might be scoring again. What you don't want to happen is that Havertz starts banging goals again. You get your striker in the transfer window, but you're now 12 points behind and the title race is over now anyway. Just keep in touch to buy yourself some time. Do you know what I mean? Just keep close. I think it's done. I've always said that because I don't think we can go. I don't see a run in us. But while it's 7 points, you know, that's not a massive lead. Just keep in touch and buy yourself some time to get some players in, players back from injury, players back into form. This time next month, you never know how the table looks. So that's why it's important just to win, just to keep in touch, to give yourself that opportunity that the title isn't over come February or even March.
Let me bring up the table. You had the correct score, Jordan, 2-1.
I did.
You did.
I did.
Top of the league, Jordan.
That's right. Having a laugh.
Jordan, you need a tissue, mate. Your nose is bleeding.
Uncharted territory. Let's do this.
You know, I did the table and then I looked at the table and thought, this don't look right. Like, have I done it right? Like, Jordan just top of the league. There was something bugging me about it.
Anything can happen, boys. See, anything can happen.
Just crown me now. Just crown me now. You might as well. Just crown me.
6 correct scores and I'm not top. I mean, what is going on?
115 charges, 10 points off. What is going on?
Yeah.
But we move. James, I'm rooting for you, man. Actually, no, you got 1 star. Fuck it, Jordan. Go take 1 star, man. Let me go into next season with Leeds.
You don't want. I see.
No, man. Why would I want, you know, someone to match my history? I've built this heritage up over years and over hard work and ruthlessness and ambition. I don't want just some Tom, Dick, and Harry coming to match it up like that. Like.
When I get that 2nd star, I'm literally going to get printed on the back of my shirt the number 2 and then just stars as the name. And it's gonna hurt.
Don't worry, Turkish. The brown envelope's on its way to you. Don't worry, mate. We can sort something out. We can make something.
Bro, if you want James to get 115
it.
charges, let me know, bro. I can find something.
Turkish is down. He's down
I'm
for
good
it.
For that. I'm good for that. He's done a couple. You know, he's done a couple things we can look back on and say, yep, 2 points off there, maybe 1 off there. Just let me know. Just let me know.
Shall ruin my life.
But for the audio listeners, Jordan is top, 32 points.
Quickly his turn, James. Just quickly Harry's turn.
5 correct scores.
Yeah,
James in second. 6 correct scores, 31 points. Lee on 24. I'm on 22.
The snake is hissing.
What, you're talking about me? What about your guy up there? Wasn't you backing him?
Well, like, I mean, like, you know,
okay.
It was always going to happen.
Never trusted him.
It was always going to happen. It was always going to happen, Lee. Do you know what I mean?
Never trust a Spurs fan, Turkish. Never trust a Spurs fan.
I've been told.
That's low. That's low.
Jordan, Villa.
I've got to take it serious now. I was going to go for a draw, but I'm not confident. 1-0 Arsenal.
1-0.
1-0.
James?
But yeah, 1-0.
How delusional can I be? Okay. 2-0.
1-0, 2-0. Lee?
2-1.
1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-2.
I know there's something screams draw about this, but I'm just going to back us to
sneak it.
I don't know how many more setbacks the fans can take. If it, another, because if Liverpool win and we don't, then we've fallen behind again. If Liverpool drop points before us and we don't capitalise, it'll be just another kick. I'm saying win because I just think we've absolutely have to, and it is more than even in previous weeks. We really have to. But the firepower's lacking. But I mean, let's just see.
I had a dream it was going to be a goalless draw. I had a dream this was going to be a 0-0.
You don't even watch the games. You're having dreams about them. What the hell?
Wow.
The fuck?
I had a dream. I looked up the highlights and it said 0-0 at the Emirates. I don't know. Weird.
Sorry, that was too easy, man. That was an Ozil through ball.
You're a bad guy. You're a bad
finish
guy.
That.
He's a bad man. I keep telling you he's a bad man. Like, you know what I mean? No one believes me.
No, I did listen. The grumpy persona has followed me this week, so I thought let's end it with a joke. So yeah, there you go, people. Haha, banter, all of that stuff. But yeah, that's the prediction table. We keep it moving from there into comments of the day. Has everyone got that ready?
Yeah, I do. I've just got. Can I just make a comment? Just a comment before I read my comment. The North London Derby. This is a message to Nike and Adidas. Make kits that don't clash with each other's red and white. Just do that, because we shouldn't be wearing our away kit when we go there. They shouldn't be wearing their away kit when they come here, and don't have it on a Wednesday night. That is it. I don't know about you guys, and I'm glad to hear the atmosphere was electric, but
it's not
red,
right.
white on a Saturday or Sunday. That's it. That's the North London Derby. It felt a touch watered down in terms of like. Obviously, we knew how big it was, and I'm glad the Emirates knew it. But is it just me?
It's a weekend fixture.
Little things like that. It just annoys me.
It's a weekend fixture.
It's a weekend fixture in your home kits. They come wearing their home kit, white and navy. We come in our red with white sleeves. That's it. And red socks. Done. Thank you.
Bob's your uncle.
I just wanted to say that. I've got the comments about Jordan interrupting Jordan and all that. There was
I've got a list, Dilly. Don't worry about that. I've got a long list of those ones here.
Listen, we want to kill your thunder. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've apologised, and it has been no.
We actually apologised in the group.
Which one did you have? Which one of the comments did you have?
Right, so I've got a few. Jordan speaking time total 530 seconds. James, start interrupting Jordan. Lord Almighty, 40 minutes in, and James has interrupted Jordan so much. Guys, please let Jordan speak. Every time he tries to say anything, he's been cut off by some of you trying to make a point.
All right, we get the gist. We get the gist.
I felt bad for Jordan this episode. Can we get a count of how many times they said, sorry, Jordan, and then interrupted him? I spilled some yogurt on my top. Someone noticed that as well, so sorry about that. Big up Bulgaria. Caught a stray in this pod. That was funny. And the last one I got was it's sad when a fan-based channel is more entertaining than the team they are fans of. That made me laugh as well. Anyway, point was made.
I don't get it, man. Most weeks they're saying get Jordan off the pod. This week they're saying
I know.
What's going on?
That's what happens.
I can't keep up, people. I try to deliver.
I do think, like, Jordan, we were rude and fundamentally.
Yeah, we was.
Do
you know what
I find quite funny is that, like, the comments are relenting, aren't they? How many podcasts have we done? 300, maybe.
Yeah,
okay,
easy.
maybe there, right? One episode where we were all a bit more passionate and a bit ruder and a bit whatever because of the circumstances. I don't fail to tell you. They do not fail to tell you, right?
I started feeling sorry for him.
And also that we're not reflective. Jordan will tell you, we messaged in the group before the. Well, actually, no, the comments were coming in.
No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I didn't see that message.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Apologies.
But you know, we do know, and actually, we also said to each other that, you know, a few times we were on our phones, and that wasn't great either. So people, we do know, but you know, good on you for not letting us ever, you know, miss a what's the word? They don't let us. They'll
probably be in the comments saying he spoke too much today. That's what they'll probably say next. Get Jordan off the pod. He's always we've been there.
Where's
before.
Curtis? Right, Lee's got a
go. I had one. Jordan got cut off more times than our front three have hit the target all season. But I've got something different from Kavkas saying this is by far the best show on AFTV. Love these four together. You get a fair and objective view. As a rival, I still watch every week. And I thought that's nice, considering rival
Lee?
fans also showing support.
Is it me or Lee? Lee, have you gone?
I've done one.
Oh, right.
What was your one, Lee?
I was talking about the comments like with Jordan, like, you know. So
which one of the comments about Jordan did you have?
Well, I can't find it now. Like, you know
oh, you can't. Oh, okay. Oh.
It's here if you want me to go for. But I'm not allowed to go down my bloody phone, am I? Like, I've been told off about my phone. I'll go down the phone. You want me to go down the phone? I'll get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Shirai?
You horrible
Shirai, we got a
snake of a
problem.
man. This snake of a man, I'll tell you, like,
he's doing it again. He's done it again. That judges.
How long does he take this bloke?
I gotta say, one of my greatest, I think, little eras in Forever Arsenal was when Lee was just rock up with comments like, and this is from John Smith 103. He says, "Really good pod, really like it."
I clocked Lee straight away today. He goes, "Yeah, I got a few
Big
comments
up the
about
crew,
Jordan."
something basic.
I will get it. Like, I mean, I can't go down.
Say you'll get it. You're gonna. What's the table like? If I duck one off you, I'm closer. I leave.
Yeah. Get out. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I'll duck you, I'll clock you, do whatever. Like, I mean, just
Hey, Ross.
I am now in like I'm late as anything. Like, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Shit, my bad.
Oh well. Yeah, mine similar gist. Well, there's
Brilliant.
two. James Munro, Jordan. I just think that everyone. Another thing. Sorry, Jordan. I just got out the way he framed it. And this, which wasn't, it's not funny, but I just thought it was such a good point that I was going to read out if we didn't win, but we won. But I thought it was a great point. It's from JFO6281. I hate the argument that we were good in attack last year because we scored the amount of goals we ever have. A lot of those goals came against bottom half teams. Make such a good point here. Burnley 8 goals, Sheffield United 11, Palace 6, West Ham 6, 7 against Bournemouth, 6 against Luton, 7 against Chelsea. It's a much longer comment. I won't read the rest of it, but I thought he was spot on, and I might actually do a video around that. I thought that's so true. Like, you can go on calendar goals, but how many teams the bottom half do just batter, and then in like a short period? So good point, but we did win. Hopefully, I don't have to do a video around that data, because that would make me upset. But yeah, really good point that.
People, love for the comments as usual. Leave your comments on this show right below. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. 3 points gained. North London derby win. 2 points gained on Liverpool. And we move into the weekend. They have Brentford away. And we have Aston Villa at home. Emery returns. We'll see how it goes, people. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll be back on Sunday for the next pod. Might be out Monday morning. And actually, it'll be Sunday because Liverpool plays Saturday as well. Yep, Sunday morning. Make sure you're here. We'll be here. Love for the love as always. We're out. Peace.